Something feels wrong. A conversation leaves you tense. A decision leaves you drained. A promise you made to yourself quietly disappears by the end of the day. But instead of stopping, you explain it away. Maybe you are overreacting. Maybe it is not a big deal. Maybe everyone else needs more from you right now. So you keep going. Self-betrayal rarely looks dramatic. It usually happens in small moments when you ignore what you know, silence what you feel, or abandon what you need to keep the peace. Here are 7 quiet ways you betray yourself without realizing it. Number 7. You say yes before checking how you feel. Someone asks for a favor. Before you even think, the answer leaves your mouth. Sure. No problem. I can do that. Then resentment appears. You were already tired. Your schedule was already full. Part of you wanted to say no, but another part feared looking selfish, difficult, or unreliable. This can look like kindness, but kindness includes choice. Automatic agreement skips over you completely. When you say yes too quickly, you never give yourself time to notice your real answer. You trade honesty for approval before understanding what the trade will cost. Other people think you are willing. You feel trapped. They keep asking because your answer taught them you were available. Then you blame them for a boundary you never expressed. A simple pause can change this. Let me check. I need to think about it. I will get back to you. Those sentences are not rude. They give your inner voice time to enter the conversation. Number 6. You explain away what repeatedly hurts you. One mistake can be forgiven. So can a bad day, an awkward comment, or a moment of poor judgment. But when the same behavior keeps hurting you, endless understanding can become a way of abandoning yourself. You tell yourself they did not mean it. They are stressed. They have been through a lot. They are not good at communicating. All of that may be true, but explanations do not erase impact. Someone can have understandable reasons and still treat you in a way that is unhealthy for you. A person can be wounded and still cause harm. You can care about their story without making yourself responsible for absorbing the consequences. Many thoughtful people get stuck here because they believe empathy requires tolerance. It does not. Empathy helps you understand another person. A boundary helps you protect your relationship with yourself. When you constantly defend the person who hurt you while questioning your own reaction, you slowly learn not to trust your pain. The issue is not whether you can explain their behavior. It is whether that behavior keeps costing you peace, dignity, or safety. Understanding someone is not the same as giving them unlimited access to you. Number 5. You shrink your needs so nobody feels uncomfortable. You want clarity, but you say, "It is fine." You need support, but you say, "Do not worry about me." You feel disappointed, but you smile so the other person does not feel guilty. Little by little, your needs become smaller in every conversation. At first, this can feel mature, but hidden underneath is often fear. If I need too much, people may leave. If I speak honestly, they may become upset. If I stop being easy, I may become difficult to love. So you become highly skilled at making yourself convenient. The problem is that unspoken needs do not disappear. They return as exhaustion, resentment, distance, or quiet sadness. Other people may honestly believe everything is fine because that is what you keep telling them. Then you feel unseen by people who were never given the chance to see you clearly. Healthy relationships require communication and the willingness to discover who can meet you with care. A need is not a demand. Expressing one does not make you a problem. Number 4. You break promises to yourself more easily than promises to others. If you tell a friend you will be there at 6, you try to arrive on time. If you promise a coworker you will finish something, you make space for it. But promises to yourself are often the first ones sacrificed. You plan to rest. You plan to leave work on time. You plan to take one step towards something meaningful. You plan to stop returning to a situation that keeps hurting you. Then another request arrives, another distraction appears, or the old habit becomes easier. So your promise moves to tomorrow. Life changes, and one broken promise does not destroy self-trust. But repetition teaches your mind something important. My commitments to myself are optional. You stop trusting your own plans. Motivation weakens because part of you no longer believes you will follow through. Rebuilding self-trust does not require a dramatic discipline. It is the RTS with smaller promises that are realistic enough to keep. 10 minutes of focused work. One honest conversation. Going to bed when you said you would. Leaving one situation you already know is not good for you. Every kept promise becomes evidence. I listen to myself. I can depend on me. Number 3. You treat your emotions like evidence against you. You feel hurt and immediately ask whether you are too sensitive. You feel angry and assume you are unreasonable. You feel anxious and decide your reaction proves you are weak. Instead of listening to the emotion, you put it on trial. Emotions are not always instructions. Feeling afraid does not always mean stop. Feeling angry does not always mean someone else is wrong. Feeling ashamed does not mean you did something shameful. But emotions are information. They show where something matters, where a boundary may have been crossed, where an old wound was touched, or where a situation deserves closer attention. When you dismiss every uncomfortable emotion, you lose access to that information. You start following what looks reasonable outside while ignoring what matters inside. The healthier question is not, is this emotion correct? It is, what is this emotion trying to tell me? Maybe the message is accurate, partly from the past, or simply needs time. You do not have to obey every feeling, but you do have to stop treating every feeling as proof that something is wrong with you. Number 2. You stay loyal to versions of yourself you have outgrown. People change. Your values change. Your limits change. Your goals change. The life that once fit can eventually become too small. But growth can create guilt. You may feel obligated to remain the person others expect. The easy friend. The endlessly available family member. The quiet employee. The person who never changes their mind. Maybe you built an identity around being strong, successful, agreeable, independent, or low maintenance. Now that identity feels heavy. Still, you keep performing it because changing feels like betrayal. But staying trapped in an outdated version of yourself is also a betrayal. You can respect the choices your past self made without living there forever. Changing your mind does not always mean you were dishonest before. Sometimes it means you learned. Outgrowing a role is not ingratitude, and leaving an old goal is not failure. Loyalty to yourself must include the freedom to evolve. Otherwise, your past becomes a contract your future never agreed to sign. Number 1. You keep choosing peace with others over peace with yourself. This may be the deepest form of self-betrayal. You avoid the difficult conversation. You accept the disrespect. You laugh at the comment that hurt. You agree when you disagree. You stay silent because silence seems easier than tension. For a moment, the room stays calm. Nobody is angry. Nobody questions you. Nobody walks away. But the conflict does not disappear. It moves inside you. Now you replay the conversation. You imagine what you should have said. You feel frustrated with them, but even more frustrated with yourself. This is the hidden cost of keeping peace at any price. You prevent discomfort outside by creating it inside. Not every disagreement needs confrontation. Timing and safety matter. But there is a difference between choosing your battles and abandoning your truth. Real peace is not the absence of visible conflict. It is the absence of constant conflict within yourself. Protecting that peace may mean speaking clearly, leaving, or allowing someone to misunderstand you. You may disappoint people when you stop betraying yourself. That does not automatically mean you are doing something wrong. It may mean the old version of the relationship depended on your silence, your flexibility, or your willingness to disappear. Something feels wrong. This time, instead of explaining it away, you pause. You listen. Maybe self-trust begins there. Not with becoming fearless, not with always knowing the perfect answer, but with deciding that your voice deserves to be included in your own life.